G'day guys, just inspecting a roof here that insurance has identified issues with, and we've provided an overhead of those issues as follows. First thing that we're going to look at is the sumps. The sumps have been installed as a high capacity system, but they don't comply with Australian standards. Widths of the sumps are required to go the full width of the box gutter, and the length of the sump is required to be 600 millimetres. The depth of the sumps did comply with 150 millimetre minimum, but if we take a look, the overflow device doesn't comply as shown here directly from the Australian standards. It's worth also mentioning that the original installer tried to upgrade to compliance by installing a side overflow. However, this also does not comply. Thermal movement's been compromised with fixing through the side of the box gutter. And if you have a look straight out of the regs here, roof cappings are to overlap by a minimum 50 millimetres. This does not. And next I'll draw your attention to the way items are jointed. This is incorrectly sealed, with rivet spacings not being compliant either. Across the entire installation, 500mm centre fixings are not met in cappings and flashings like so, and 3-degree falls on the cappings are a defect all across this property. The next compliance defect is the gutters holding water and not falling adequately, and the guttering system must fall at a consistent 1 in 200 and an absolute minimum. Large capping/tray flashings do not fall at 3 degrees, and here you can see some fixing spacings. Next up, we've got some sarking installed over the top of a hanging flashing, which we'd recommend is extended. And as we walk to the other end of this gutter now, we can see the minimum falls not met and the cappings pooling. We've got further cappings not falling. We've got rivet spacings and joining methods not met. We've got pooling around screws. We've got our second non-compliant sump, which has got all the non-compliance defects as the other end. And then we look, we've got 45mm coverage right here. And then next we're going to take a look at the barge flashings, and this is a common problem that minimum 500mm spacings down a barge aren't met, and most people do just line them up with the screw lines. Over to the other side of the roof, we've got our first sump that doesn't comply, and we've got the same issues with the cappings again. As you can see, the staining, and then when we pop a level on, we don't have minimum falls, minimum fixing spacings, same issues with the hanging flashings, same issues with minimum rivet spacings and joining methods. We've got our last sump on the upper level, and we've got an extremely blocked sump. And here we can see the overflow entering the sump, which it's meant to terminate to atmosphere. Next up, we've got a downpipe discharging from the roof above into the box gutter that doesn't comply with Australian standards and will need to be altered. And then we look at a little lower roof here where I wasn't able to get an overhead image for it, but it's got all the same issues. Cappings not falling, box gutter issues, the widths, the depths, the type of overflows used. But one thing that's different about this roof is the roof sheeting. When I popped a level on there, I would get 1 degree at times, 1.2, and other times I got 0.8. So these will need to be removed and repitched appropriately. And another new item on this roof is the minimum upstands on flashings. We don't have 100mm on the apron, so these will need to come off.